Hello and welcome back to another edition of West Ham Fan TV's Post-Match Pint, the only West Ham United post-match show on the internet. We came back from the London Stadium yesterday. Fucking hell. Awful game of football, to be quite honest with you. It was West Ham 0, Brentford 1, obviously. Welcome to Dan and Brian, who's going to go through the Post-Match Pint today. Boys, what's happening? What's going on? One win under Potter. Not good enough.
No, it's not. And that's the thing. Like, that little honeymoon season is over. I think. Do you know what the thing is though? We got to look at it as an extensive pre-season for him. I won't really judge the manager until the end of the season. We can review and start afresh. But with regards to yesterday's game, it was one of those ones that after having like a couple of weeks break. Then coming into it with quite a lot of optimism, players fresh, ready. Potter's got a good record against playing Brentford and stuff like that. There was a lot of optimism, and I think when looking at sort of like the team selection, there was a formation change, and something that me and Dan said yesterday when talking, we were kind of surprised that he actually went to a back four for this game. And it's not saying we're advocating for a back 3 or 5, but against Brentford, a team that traditionally play fast counter attack, get it up to the strikers as quick as possible. It felt like it was slightly a bit of a risk. But if I look at it, Nicky, I think the first half was atrocious. That's that goes without saying. There's no one in that starting 11 that we can say had a good game at that point. And I think there's a couple of things that were done which for me kind of set the tone for the game. So the goal came really early, just under 4 minutes, right? I think with them scoring so quickly, the players just looked jittery to me. It's sort of like they sort of got stunned and it rushed them sort of into decisions. Kuda's playing in a 10 role. A lot of us have been calling for that this season, and we finally saw it. It was absolutely garbage. It just didn't work. Yep. Soler on the left as well. It just didn't work. And Paqueta also, even though he holds up the ball well and runs things down, it didn't work. So I think that sort of set the tone. And because we can't defend as a team, it just meant that anytime Brentford attacked or counter-attacked, we just couldn't deal with it. We couldn't deal with any of the long diagonal or straight down the middle passes because we got no pace. And once they scored, anytime we tried to build anything up, our build-up play is so slow. So therefore, they just set and it just made us look, silly. But
it looked like Lopetegui at his worst. That's what it looked like yesterday. That was Lopetegui ball, what I saw. And I think he did get it wrong, Potter. And he's at the stage where he can afford to make mistakes because he's learning about the team. But, some of the best football we've seen all season was when he played that 3 at the back. And we've seen it can be an exciting attacking formation with the fullbacks high up the pitch. But playing a back 4 with the likes of Mavropanos, who likes to go drifting out of position constantly, if the amount of goals, I would bet it's in the double figures. The amount of goals we've conceded where Mavropanos is high up the pitch and there's one ball either through or over the top that just cuts it open the defense, and then Kilman is chasing back by himself. I bet you it's in the double figures, and I'm so sick of seeing it.
Yesterday, a couple of people were saying to me about, because I'm very critical of Mavropanos, and I think someone was saying to me yesterday they think he may be one of the worst defenders I've ever seen. Listen, I have seen worse, but I'm not going to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think it's far off, to be honest. But they were saying to me, Kilman's bad, and actually Mavropanos had a better game. You look at the goal, yeah. Mavropanos comes storming out, yeah. As the ball comes over, he comes storming out, and that little ball through to who had the initial shot? Was it Wissa? Was it Wissa?
Yeah, either him or yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think it was him. But he's out. He's gone. He's just storming out to the right wing. You've got to hold your position there. The left back's out of position, and he just goes storming out. And somebody said to me, "Yeah, but he made like a couple of last ditch tackles. He just happened to be in the right place at the right time. There was no planning behind that, And it was, a better team. If we were playing Liverpool, they'd have done a 1-2 round him and they'd have got past him, and he wouldn't have even been able to get a foot in. I just think when it comes to, I don't want to lay all the blame on him, because I also think that the midfield was pretty poor yesterday as well. I thought Souček was non-existent. Alvarez and him, I think it's too defensive, and it doesn't give you any legs. We've got no legs down the centre of the pitch, right there. And the amount of times I see the ball go over, and the centre backs are watching it bouncing. I'm watching the centre backs. The centre backs are getting split so easily, right? And I mean so easily. And it's just a turn in midfield, because Kudus, I thought Kudus was pretty poor, even defensively. Like, he normally puts in defensively, and he just wasn't yesterday. I mean, I think it may be that Potter told him to stay up top. That's my feelings, that he told him to stay up top and try and sort of pick up on the loose balls that are coming. Well, we were second to everything. We were second to everything, especially in the first half. We were second to everything. We had nothing to hold the ball up. Paquetá was, listen, I know there's fouls and all that. The reason he's not getting fouls is because he's chucking himself on the floor at every opportunity. At every opportunity. As soon as he's touched, he's chucking himself on the floor. He's got to be. And the referees, they're looking at him doing that, and they're thinking, well, every time it comes to him, he's doing the same thing. It's fact. It's fact. It used to happen to Di Canio, because they play act so much and they're so weak that Thingy was the same as well. Soler. I mean, playing Soler I like Soler as head centre midfielder. Playing him on the left wing, absolutely atrocious.
Didn't work when Lopetegui did it, and it's not working now.
No,
and I've seen that apparently we're not thinking about signing him on a permanent. Which, listen, I'm not mad at if he wants to save the money and spend it elsewhere. But again, if you're going to play him in his weakest position, we're not going to see the best of him, and that's not a good way to judge him. And playing, I don't know why he didn't play him alongside Alvarez over Souček. He had a poor game, and he's had some good games this season, but he was poor. And Alvarez, defensively, he's good, but I'm so sick of seeing him yesterday. Every time he got the ball, just stand there and look around and take it, rather than making the quick pass. Like, his brain moves slower than the rest of his body.
The problem is, and we've had this for a long time now. It started under Moyes. It went through to Lopetegui. We're so sideways and backwards all the time. You look at the way that Brentford pop that ball about. They see the run, yeah, and I'm watching it as well, because I'm expecting something different under Potter. I don't know whether it's going to come, but I'm expecting something different under Potter. They see the run and they hit the run every time. And the amount of time I see our boys, there's a pass on, a simple pass, and it's not just a simple pass, but it's a pass where you can play it, and there's 3 players around him that you can pop off of, and they turn and they go the other way, and they look for something over the other side, and then they turn back, look for. I saw that happening in the 88th minute yesterday. The 88th minute. Yeah. We're 1-0 down. We've been 1-0 down from the 5th minute. Yeah. And they're stopping on the halfway line, turning back and going back towards the goalkeeper. 88th minute, 1-0 down at home. Not good enough, I'm afraid. I know full fact, right? And when you look at it, it's Lopetegui ball. They've had this fucking drilled into them, I think, all season. And it's going to take a little while to get out of it. Mavropanos cannot play. Todibo was back yesterday. He was on the bench. He cannot play. He cannot play.
If he does play, it has to be in the back three. If he's going to play, it has to be in the back.
Mavropanos cannot play. He's terrible.
The thing is, when you I said it from inception, Nicky. A lot of people, including yourself, were defending him first and foremost and saying that he's all right. Yeah. He's got a mistake in him, right, Mavropanos. But in all honesty,
1 or 2 a game, Brian.
100%.
But in all honesty,
in all honesty, I don't think he was the worst player yesterday. I wouldn't even put him in the top 5 of worst players yesterday. No. I think there's a few players that come before him, and this is why I'm saying that as a team, defensively, we can't defend as a 4. We don't have the personnel, not only in defence, in midfield. So we don't currently have the personnel to play a system where we can have 4 at the back comfortably, because we've got no legs in midfield, like you said. We've got no runners, and we haven't got anyone that's decent enough to partner Kilman. I think the jury's still out on Todibo, and we'll have to see what happens and how he is when he comes back. But I think with yesterday, in terms of blame, I think it's a 50-50 for me. It's a combination of Potter got elements of the tactics wrong, and I also feel the players got to take responsibility, because
absolutely,
you know what we saw in the first half was absolutely shocking, and we were quite fortunate just to be one down. To concede 13 shots after 35 minutes is just it's not acceptable at home. Do you know what I mean? And we do have an issue, and I think our issue is a combination of things, but we're in need of some legs in midfield. We're right down the middle of the team, really. I think the fullbacks were shocking yesterday, and it sort of moving to the second half. The changes were the right thing to do. They were spot on. There's an argument to be said if they came too late or whatever, but Emerson had one of his worst games that I've seen, and it was more out of possession. Emerson, so not when he was in possession, out of possession, he was forever getting caught a lot, and Brentford were just forever exposing us down the flanks basically, and it just wasn't good. Even Wan-Bissaka didn't have a great game. Bowen as well, you know, because he was just hang out wide right. And was hugging that touchline. He was quite ineffective. But the changes, if like with the second half, there was an improvement. But then Brentford were just doing the dark arts and just killing the game with just dropping on the floor, and the momentum just got sucked out of us.
I mean, conceding when we did probably killed us and killed the game plan.
I mean, it was to be fair, right? The goal was unlucky. It was unlucky. I thought we kept it out. It was a fucking superb save, Areola. I thought, you know, it's just behind the line, but the triple save that he made was fantastic.
Yeah, a lot of people was giving him stick, funny enough, and
I can't see where the stick come from yesterday.
Yeah. You know what it is. You know what it is, right? It was partly to do with his distribution was a little bit on the slow side. I think he had a good game, but there were times his distribution was a bit slow when passes were on a bit quicker. But yeah, as you said, excellent saves.
But just on the midfield, what we really lack are athletes, proper athletes. What we've got are just, you know, these bog standard, either footballers or this, you know, Souček, whatever he is, a wrecking ball. And you got Alvarez, but there's no real athletes with pace, with strength, you know, power, drive, like no engine in that midfield. And it is a painful midfield to watch, no matter what. Look, I was happy to have Ward-Prowse back. But he's good at passing the ball. He can move the ball around. He can press, but he's not that engine that we need in midfield. And I think that is the problem.
To be honest, as well, I think we've been killed off by the momentum of the FA Cup week being dead as well, because we did play well at Chelsea. You know, Bowen came in, scored a goal. He just came back from injury. 12 days off after that. You know, you're struggling for fitness. He needs minutes. Also, what I would say as well is that, like, we'd had a transfer window and there was players there, and I've got to mention this because when you sign new players, you know, I thought yesterday we made more of a big deal about James Ward-Prowse returning from a loan than signing Evan Ferguson. Evan Ferguson is a striker. He was highly lauded, right? A season and a half ago. We've got him on loan for the rest of the season. We've had no striker for God knows how long, right? He comes in. You've got a big chance there. You know, a big part of of stadium. I mean, I know the stadium MC as well, but I'm going to call him out on this. You know, he's not doing his job. You know, you go around I'll go around every ground. Yeah, the MCs of the grounds are there to G up the crowd. Right, that crowd yesterday was dead from day dot. Right, from the second I got in there. Right, and I'm listening to the. I got in there early for once in my life, right? I got in there early. Chris Skull, I know Chris as well. I think he's decent at his job. But the MC, you know, the one that's sort of like announcing the team and all that, he's doing nothing. And I mean, he seems like he doesn't want to fucking be there. Like,
he got the substitutions wrong if that was on him. I mean, he said Rodriguez was coming on.
This is what I want to talk about, right? So you're meant to be G'ing these people up. It sounds like I'm listening to a fucking Sunday church broadcast when I'm going in there. It's so dull and it's so fucking flat. Get someone in there with a bit of energy. Like, you've got to, you know, people feed off of energy. You know, you've got to, if the fucking tannoy is dead and the person over the tannoy is dead, what the fuck do you expect the crowd to be like? It honestly, like, This is psychology, right? We've got a debutant coming in, a striker, young striker, highly lauded striker, right? G him up, make him sound like the best thing since fucking sliced bread. Get him excited. He should have started for a start, right? He should have started, yeah. But you know, fucking G the crowd. When he came on, you get one debut, one, yeah. People were excited, right? He got his name wrong. He got the fucking name wrong. He said that Guido Rodriguez, which if you was there, you would heard an audible groan as soon as
I was like, "What?" I was baffled. Rodriguez.
Rodriguez's name was like that. If you'd have mentioned Ferguson's name, it would have lifted the crowd for the next 10 minutes. Like, people feed off that. Debutants feed off that. Players feed off that energy. If there's no energy in the fucking stadium, how do you expect the crowd to be energized? That is what they're there for. I mean, again, I know the guy. I've met the guy before. John, he knows John really well, and I've met the guy a few times, and I like the guy. But that is fucking pathetic. I'm sorry, that is pathetic. I could do a better job. Go out there, start G'ing it up. Chris Cole does a good job. He's a good presenter, yeah? But the other guy, get him out. We need someone with a bit more energy in there. And to get the fucking substitutions wrong, I'm not saying it's him, yeah? And I'm not saying it's him. Sorry, my dog's going crazy. I'm not saying it's him, but the club are just as bad. But if you're announcing the subs, what's he doing? Is he not watching the game? Because I could see it. Yeah. I could see it. You should have just turned around and went, like, that's the wrong name. If they're going to put the wrong name on the fucking screen, I'm going to announce the right name. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like it's like a free ticket to them. They're not there. There's no. Go around the grounds, yeah, and watch every MC of a different club. They're into the club. They're passionate about the club. I'm not seeing it.
It's. I think there's something to be said as well that it seems to be we're much better away than at home, and our home form this season has felt pretty crap. And the home performances, even the Fulham game, wasn't the best performance compared to what we've seen away from home. So just the whole stadium is flat. The atmosphere is flat. I speak to a lot of fans, and a lot of them, people would say they don't enjoy it. They don't enjoy going over there anymore. Fans that have been going 30, 40 years, losing love for it. So I think there is maybe something to be said about that home fan. I know, like, this fan group had a meeting with Karen Brady and the club about the atmosphere, and one of the big things was bringing the flag wavers back. And I was like, oh yeah, that'll help. Remember the flag wave? We're getting these teenagers.
That was our idea. But
That's the big thing that's going to sort the atmosphere. Some kids waving flags. So it's
a tricky one. Isn't it? It's a tricky one. It's a project in itself, isn't it? Yeah, it's a project in itself. The whole trying to get energy back in the stadium, because it's something that we've spoken about for a couple of years now. About there's so much wrong with the stadium, and there's so much the acoustics, things like how it bounces around. There's so much, but with your point, Dan, I mean, I'm one of those fans that are like, I've just completely fallen in love with watching games at the moment, man. It's just like kind of like, I've just written off the season completely, and I think the players as well, not necessarily having that pressure, they kind of feed off the fans and the energy. I think everyone's feeling flat generally, so I'm not surprised.
It's like a symbiotic relationship, because on the pitch we have at home. We've not really seen anything in terms of performance. Like, say, look at that first half against Villa in the FA Cup, and like the second half against Villa in the league. We haven't seen anything like that at home all season. So imagine if we played like that: the pressing, winning the ball back high up the pitch, the tackles, creating those chances, putting keepers on. Imagine we see that at home, how much G'd up the crowd would be. But we never see that at home. So it's one of the things: is it the chicken or the egg? Like, is it because of us, or are we like that because our egg?
I'm going to be honest with you, Dan. Go in there. Right, you never arrive early, yeah? Go in there an hour before kickoff. You'd think you was listening to fucking some sort of hypnosis fucking tape. Honestly, hello and welcome to the London. It's like that Sunday morning, fucking, like early morning. Hello and welcome to the London Stadium. This is Brentford's team. It's like that. You know, you go around to the fucking, to other grounds, mate. They're G'ing people up. Like, if you've got no energy coming out, then people are not going to put energy in. I know that sounds stupid, but it's psychology. You know, if the fucking people that are announcing the stadium, you walk into the stadium and it sounds like you're fucking walking into a fucking hypnosis tape. What the fuck are you supposed to fucking do? You know what I mean? He's there to start G'ing people up. Go in there an hour before kickoff. I swear down. I've never heard anything like it. I've never heard anything like it at a football ground.
Yeah,
I never heard anything like it.
Even the halftime bit, and look, I like Chris, but even the halftime stuff grates on me, and it's just a bit bleh. It's just, it feels like some little games at like a summer fete or something, like a church fete or things like that. Like, I don't know, man. There's a lot that needs to be done in that ground, but there's a lot that needs to be done in this team, and that's for damn sure. And it's going to need overhauling. There's a lot of players that need to go and a lot that need to come in. I see Sean peddling this, we need to sell to buy stuff. I'm not buying into that because we hear it every season. We're going to need to sell to buy in the summer. We're going to need to. I think we heard that last season, and we went and splashed money before we sold a single player. So
the thing is, mate, there's people going this summer. There's people going without a shadow.
Yeah, I mean, there's load out of contract. But we need to hope we can sell some of the dead wood that we've got, because, geez, there's quite a bit. And you know what? Another thing I want to say is, it's just really fucking annoying me is the Moyes stuff, because Everton he's gone in, they've got a bounce, and you know he's won quite a few games. We're not playing quite well since we've got a manager, and everyone's just jumping the gun. Should have kept Moyes. Oh, look. And it's just like you're writing off Potter. You forget about the two completely different situations that we're coming into. I mean, if you look at it, Moyes is a very similar manager to Dyche. So it's not like he's going and asking them to do completely different jobs. He's just going in and making probably a few little fundamental changes and getting that extra bit out of him. But let's have these conversations after he's been there a while, after Potter's been here a while. Why are we now 4 or 5 games going, oh look, Moyes is winning like 4 games, as if he weren't doing that for us?
Yeah, the thing is, you're right. You're right, Dan. It's just basically I've just been ignoring all of that Moyes and Everton talk because it's lazy and it's easy. Do you know what I mean? People just jump on that because it's easy. I think for us, the situation we've got is this, right? We've got a number of deadwood players that need to go. We've also got an aging squad, and we also got a lot of key players that are out of form. So when you've got that cocktail there, you just basically stuck between a rock and a hard place. It almost doesn't matter what manager comes in. It needs to be sort of like a clearance or a change, an uptake in form and so on and so forth. I think Kudus is like a prime example of that. What we've seen this season is a player that's A, out of form, B, probably been found out a little bit by other teams in the Premier League, so he's getting doubled up a lot, and C, he's very, very, very frustrated, and that's like a combination of reasons in terms of probably playing out of position, things not coming off, etc. But then because of that, it's just led to a player that is now questioning himself, making poor decisions, running into players, ball distributions being really terrible, etc. And I think you're in a situation where some people now are like, should he be dropped? The problem is, if you drop him, we don't necessarily have a like-for-like replacement. If you drop him, you don't get an opportunity yesterday where Ferguson crosses the ball in and the player's there, he's there to whack it in. Those situations can sort of like change momentum completely. If he scored that, he probably would have been playing like flipping Maradona for the rest of the game. Do you know what I mean?
We don't have the luxury of dropping Kudus at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. So that for me, that's the kind of thing that the situation we're in, which is why when Potter came in and was playing the 3 or the 5, depending how you look at it, although it's not my systems of choice, it made us look a lot more solid as a team. Having the options of the square and the box midfield in our team, it made the options on for players to pass really easy. So it made people like Souček, people that are not really good on the ball, have options left, right, forward, and back, and we looked a little bit more solid. So I was surprised with the lineup yesterday, but at the same time, it was still a lineup that was good enough to get a result yesterday. So I didn't look at it thinking, what the hell is this? A lot of it's hindsight. We look at it, and because of what happened, we saw, why is this player playing? Why is that playing? It was still good enough to beat what was in front, despite Brentford being on the back of two away wins. Do you know what I mean?
I think
we don't concede that goal at the start. It's a different game because Brentford don't shut up.
I don't know, Dan. We conceded 4, more or less. But
yeah, they hit that because Nick, what happened is obviously they're very good defensive. Like Brian said earlier, we're slow build up. There's to sit back, get their shape, and hit us on the counter attacks. They showed us how to counter attack. They was effective at it. So because we had to go and commit more bodies forward because we were losing, they were picking us off on the counter. If we don't concede that goal,
I think it would have came. It would have still came. I just think
we would have had more opportunities. They wouldn't have been so.
I don't know. I mean, it's one of them ones, isn't it? You'll never know. You'll never know the true thing.
Well, you never know anything, will we? I'm just
that's what I'm saying. You'll never know. Maybe. No, I'm not disagreeing with you, mate. But it wasn't like we was fucking. It was like we was peppering the goal and then it stopped.
I'm not saying we win, but it's 6 minutes, isn't it? It's 6 minutes.
No, I understand, mate. I understand completely what you're saying, but I'm just saying I'm not sure it would have, because I think it would have still come at some point.
But maybe we get the opportunity before that comes, and we rode our luck a lot yesterday. We did, and I said to Scott, VAR is probably our man of the match. But it's one of them ones. But
it's I'll tell you what it is, Dan. It's too many. There's too many 5 out of 10 performances against players that are putting in 7 out of 10 performances. That's what it is. We've got, on paper, we've probably got a better team than Brentford on paper, but we don't play football on paper. You play football on grass, and then you know when them players get out there, you know they've got to put in the performances. And yeah, you're right, mate. There's a lot of them. You know, did Potter get it right? Probably not. Did he miss a trick not starting Ferguson? Probably. But at the end of the day, as you say, we had enough players out there, and there's too many people putting in 5, 6 out of 10 performances against
there's
players.
Only 2 players that I think are unsellable in the summer, and that is Jared Bowen. And even though we didn't have the best game yesterday, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. They're 2 players I would not entertain any offers for. The rest, every single one of them,
should be up for
get the right offer. Paqueta,
he's unsellable as well.
Scholes should be starting, mate.
Who?
Yeah.
Who? Scholes. Oh, yes, Scholes. Yeah, the youngsters go without saying. Yeah. Well, unless we got silly money for him, but yeah, Scholes.
No, not even then. He's the future, mate. And I said this at the beginning of the season. I don't know why we stuck around with people like Aaron Cresswell. I don't understand why we stuck people like him about. You know?
Yeah, but the difference is Cresswell can play in that back 5 as a centre back more so. Whereas
I mean, I think I'm probably nearly as young as him, and that's saying something. You know what I mean?
No, Nicky said it in the past, and he's right. What we've done as a club for the last 10 years is we've been very sentimental, and we've ended up giving out contracts just based on services. Yeah, and it's led us into problem situations where, you know, whether it's the wages, whether it's players getting injured, and then we've had to bring in those players and they get found out. So it is one of those ones where I kind of agree in terms of like we need to be sort of a bit more hardcore with that.
Well, that comes up to Brian. I'll be interested what you guys take, because me and Scott spoke a bit about this on Friday Night Pint. Mikel Antonio, his contract comes out at the end of the season. Obviously, he had a horrific car crash. There's a small chance he might play again this season, which blows my mind.
You know what I think that is, Dan? Do you know what I think that is? I'm going to be totally honest with you, right? I don't think they want to pay another year of his wages.
Well, this is what it's going to come down to, and it's going to cost. If we give him, say, another year, we're looking at about 6 million quid, right? So sentiment would say, oh, he's played for us for so long. He had that bad car crash. Give him another year, go out well. Or if you're ruthless, you go, nah, like, thank you for everything. But, you know,
I don't think they want to pay another year of his contract. I don't think they do. And I don't think they want to pay attention.
Would you do it?
Would I do it? No, I wouldn't do it. But I'm just saying, like, if he doesn't come back, and there was because we've got an option to extend it by a year, right? So people are saying if he doesn't come back by the end of the season, right? Because there was talk about extending it for a year out of there was talk he may never play again. Yeah, he may never play again. And we still don't know. We still don't know what the circumstances are. He's back in rehab, but Dean Ashton was back in rehab. We don't know. We don't know what the situation is. We don't know what the extent of the injury is. And somebody said to him, "Do you think you'll ever play for West Ham again?" And he said, "Who knows? Who knows?" I think if he makes an effort to get back and he plays before the end of the season, I think he sees his season out. I don't think West Ham want to give him another contract, which I think is the right thing. This is what we're talking about. In terms of, listen, I love Mickey, and I think he's been a great servant. He's our top scorer in the Premier League. He's been one of my favourite players. But again, age is catching up to him. He's just had a nasty, nasty accident. Would I have dumped him? If he couldn't play again, maybe give him the contract just to give him, a little bit of boost in the money before he retires, because I don't think he will play again for us. But I think they think if he gets back, that they can just dump him, because he'll be playing again, and he'll put himself in the shop window, and somebody could take him. But I don't think he's going to play at this standard again. I really don't. That's a bad injury to have.
Yeah, no one's going to pay him the over 120 grand a week that we.
No, and if he was playing again for this season, no, I would have turned around and said absolutely not. Just you need to move on at some point.
So what are you saying, Nick? If he don't play again this season, you'd give him.
I think if he doesn't play again, I think they'll give him a contract just out of a goodwill.
But you don't think we should?
No, I don't think we should.
What about you, Brian? You think we should?
I think it's a really easy one for me. I think if you take the car accident away, if you take that out of the equation and you ask the same question,
he's not getting one, is he?
Yeah, he's not getting a contract. So for me, it's if you're looking at it from that business point of view, I think what I would do as a sentiment, I wouldn't offer him a new contract, but I would offer him some kind of option within the club, some kind of coaching role, or something that he could sort of like look to aspire to, depending on what he wants to do going forward. So it's made very clear, like from a playing point of view, yeah, we're gonna have to end it here. But if you want to still remain part of the club, here are some options. And then if he makes a decision to kind of like retire, if he doesn't get a contract anywhere else, he's got that as an option. But for me, definitely, I would. The sentiment thing's done now, and I think, like I said, take the car accident out of it. Most of us will probably say we wouldn't be renewing it.
I think it should be up to Graham Potter. I think he has this season. He has pre-season to train with him. Graham Potter looks at him and goes, "I can use him. He can play a role. I'll give him a year extension. I'll go with that." Like, if it's Potter, if Potter says nah, like he ain't going to be able to contribute, I think
I think Potter needs to be looking at his own options. Look, I've got it on good merit that there is no chance we're going to be signing Evan Ferguson in the summer. No chance, no matter what he does here. I've got it.
We're just that we're having a medical with that Daniel Cummins from Celtic. Who's 80 years old,
but I've got it on good merit that the deal for Ferguson was he plays and he comes back. We want him playing and we want him to come back. It's doing us a favour short term. Do what you're going to do? Put all your eggs in. I mean, as we did say the other day, player power is a big part of it. He might enjoy himself here, and he might, ask Brighton if he could go and sort of spread his wings each way. But the money's going to have to be right. If he comes and tears it up, then maybe they say, yeah, all right. Then if they pay 80 million quid, we'll let you go. But and let's be honest, we're not going to do that. We're not going to play it. But I've got it on good authority. I've got it on good authority from an inside source that no matter what, he ain't going to be here past the summer, right? So we need to be.
I don't think it takes an inside source. I think it's pretty obvious.
No. This is a very, very, very strong inside source, right? And
no. What I'm saying is, inside source or not, I think it's obvious.
No. Yeah, it's obvious. Yeah, and they want him playing. That's why he didn't go to Arsenal, because Arsenal were in for him. They didn't want him to go to Arsenal. They need him to play.
Although he probably would now with Havertz out injured.
He would, and I did say this. He was probably lucky to Havertz injury come after that, because I think that, in terms of like the promise to play, I think, you know, with Havertz being out, I think he would have played at Arsenal now. But, you know, you've got to be looking forward now. You know, we cannot, and I mean this with the greatest respects to Antonio. I love Antonio. I love him. Yeah. But you cannot be turning back to Mikel Antonio come the end of the season, especially after a big car accident. You know, especially, you know, at the age he is. You know,
mate, it would not surprise me with how long we've been trying to replace him and him still starting up top for us. It would not surprise me.
Honestly, it's to be honest with you, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to keep on having to turn back to him. Listen, as I said, I love the geezer. He's not a centre forward. He's a good player, and he's effective at times, but he's not a proper centre forward. But you know,
I miss him on the right wing. Those glory days in the right wing for us when he was playing under Billy.
Yeah, brilliant. You know,
because you know what, when he was on the wing as well, he used to score a lot of headers as well, and we kind of you know,
from the wing,
yeah.
You know, them 2000s, probably 16 to about 19, 20, he was unformidable on the wing. You know, and then,
even from 2015.
Yeah.
All them games against Liverpool at home and Spurs.
Age catches up to everyone, Daniel. Age catches up to everyone, and he's old, and he's just about to, you know, come back from a major car accident. Well, it's not just about, you know, time will tell.
Yeah, because the problem is his play style does rely a lot on his physical attributes, and that is the problem.
Yeah, and they break down. They break down. You know.
Exactly. Whereas more technical players and things like that can go a little bit longer at the same standard, I think. And he's had a lot of injuries. He's ran himself into ground. He's always,
we need to find someone that fits our system, you know, and that's the thing with Moyes, you know, and that's, you know, a lot of people will realise this. And I'll go back to Moyes again when the people were saying about him. You got to remember, there's a factor at Everton at the moment that is their last sort of 15 games at that last stadium. At that stadium, it causes a big lift in. And going back to the stadiums, it causes a big lift in atmosphere. You know, they wanted the guy gone. He's gone. They've lifted. The atmosphere is lifted. You know, the other day, the derby. It's a classic. It's a classic derby, you know.
Last ever one at Goodison.
Last ever one at Goodison, yeah. If it wasn't last ever one at Goodison, they'd have been beat 4-0. I guarantee you.
It's a good
you know, it's different. It's different. You know, let's go back to Moyes, yeah, next year when they've had that move into the stadium. Let's see where he is this point next year, yeah, when they've had that move into the stadium, when it's all difficult, when it's all new. Somebody said, "What is that?"
He goes on like a little losing streak, say 4 games without a win.
And he will.
Oh no, we was right to get rid of him. You know what I mean? Are you going to say, if you can say that now, when things are bad for him, are you going to say, "Oh wow, Moyes is crap. Good job they got rid of him"? No, you're not. So I think people are just disingenuous. I'm just so tired of it, man. He's too managers.
Somebody says it's obviously an Everton fan. We've lost 2 derbies at home in 12 years, Nicky, mate. You're just wrong to admit it. Liverpool on fire, mate. They're on fire, and you was at the bottom. Let's see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
How many of them have they won, though? That's what I'd be interested to see.
Not a lot.
How many of them? Not a lot.
Not a lot. No.
But yeah, then this is the thing. But if that was at Anfield, say, they get back. So it's not that Moyes is. It's just at the moment it's the perfect storm with the stadium and that new manager vibe and the players that they've got. It's the perfect storm. So they're doing well. They're going to get to that point, where they're going to want to move on from him.
Snizzy gets busy, but please to stop talking nonsense. You know, you're above us. You are above us. We're having a bad season, and you've come in and he's had a good. He's not our most successful ever manager, mate. You don't know what you're talking about. So please.
Yeah. That's. But this is what I'm saying. Even Snizzy here and a lot of the Everton fans give it like next season, mate.
Half of them didn't.
The honeymoon period.
Half of them didn't even want him. I think 3/4 of them didn't even want him. So, whatever, mate. You know,
they'll get tired of the football like they did when they had him before. They'll get tired of the dithering, the late substitutions, everything that they was annoyed about him last time. They'll get annoyed about him, in the end. So it's short memories, I think.
There you go. Fuck him.
So yeah, look, I think for West Ham, it's just about the future.
It is, well, it is, mate.
we always thought that it would be a difficult period, and we did get excited by some of the performances that we've seen, but it's still a long road.
I still think it will pick up by the end of the season. I still think it'll pick up. I think when you look at the teams we've had in the form that they've been in, I think it's been very unfortunate. Aston Villa, in the cup, they're a good side. We've had Chelsea. They're not been in the greatest of form, but I was at home. I thought they was very fortunate to get away with the win in that night. You know what I mean? I think they was very fortunate to get away with the win. But we've faced Brentford and Crystal Palace, and they've at the time of the form when they've come to us, they've been in probably the best form of the fucking season. If it had come in and there would have been a run of an Ipswich and a Southampton and a Leicester and all that, that's why we should have got rid of Lopetegui a bit earlier, because we did have that little run of games where he could have come in and settled down. The Leicester away, even with Lopetegui, we should have battered them. And it's one of them, isn't it? So
the thing is, look, there's a lot of points to be played. What we've got 14 games left. A lot of people are looking behind, because they can see Wolves are sort of catching up. People talking about relegation fight. Look, there's no chance we'll get relegated. We're 10 points clear of that, so I'm not even bothered about that. I think in terms of what we're looking for, we want a respectable end to the season. I think to finish 10th would probably be amazing right now, considering how the season is panning out and how the teams above us are all shaping up. But I think, anything above 12th will be good. And I know it's not what we set out for at the beginning of the season, but there is a lot of points to be played for there. And we just need a bit of a shake up. And I think it just means starting some different personnel. I think get Ollie in. Let's start Ollie from the start. Forget Emerson. Get a couple, sort out the midfield. It's easier said than done with the midfield because again, we've got that sort of that loyalty thing, isn't it? Souček's arguably had probably one of his better seasons, funny enough, in all aspects. He probably captained the side. You could say arguably he captained the side quite well when Bowen wasn't there. His goal distribution it's been all right this season, and his passing has probably been the best it's ever been because his passing is atrocious. But again, in terms of moving forward, for me personally, he's not someone that we should be, building the team around and having him in the starting 11. If we want to play progressive football, we need 11 players on the pitch that are visible, they're effective, they're energetic, and they're contributing to our output. And unfortunately, Souček for me is more of a squad player rather than someone that should be in the starting lineup. So we just need to shake it up, and I think that will give some of our more senior players a kick up the backside if they see that they're no longer an automatic choice.
Yeah, I mean, and you're right. I think you're spot on. And now because you were saying about that, I just had to look at the table because you're saying about the prospects. I think 10th, we're 10 points off 10th, so that's a step too far. I think it's from us in 16th to Spurs in 12th. It's between those teams. So West Ham, Man United, Everton, Palace, Spurs are all going to be fighting out for 12th, basically. And
I think that's as realistically, we're probably going to come about 14th. Let's be honest, realistically, but people saying I don't want you to worry, but we're 11 points behind. 11 points is too much. There's about a quarter of this. There's about 12 games left. 12 or 13 games. That means we would have to lose 4 and they win 4. And it's not so much us losing 4; it's them winning 4. To make the turn. And we've got to play a lot of them. We've got to play Southampton. We've got to play Wolves. We've got to play Wolves.
You know what the funniest thing was, Nick? It weren't that long ago. Me and you had a big debate on here where you was talking about the prospect of us getting European football. Never mind.
No, that's right. Yeah, but again, it was at a point where it was so tight at the time, and I thought if we would have made
13 points off of 7th, I think it was.
I think at the time when we go back, I think there was about 6 or 9 points between from where we are up to the European football. Listen,
I just said there was 13. There was 13.
No, I don't think there was. I think there was
because I've said it about 50 times. I said, Nick, there's no way we'd take a 13-point swing.
Yeah,
I said, there's no way we're going to make
as I said, it all depends on you going on a run. We haven't gone on a run. We haven't gone on a run. Everton are in form.
We're not. I don't think it's been capable of going on a
Everton are in that form. Everton could do it. If we'd have hit that form, I think we could have done. But I don't think we will now. Huh?
I don't think Everton keep up that form. I mean, they're fortunate they've got Man United at home next, so they should win their next game because it's Man United at home. But they've got Brentford away, Wolves away. They got us. I tell you what, I'm dreading that fucking Everton game because the fan base is going to be unbearable. If we lose that game, I'm staying off social media.
I don't think you should worry about that.
Yeah, it don't matter, Dan. It doesn't matter. Trust me.
I'm sick of it.
What are they going to do? They're going to turn around and go, yeah, we should have kept Moyes for another week. I've heard it for fucking 50 weeks.
But they won't sit there if we win and say, oh, yeah, we were right to sack Moyes.
No. I would not worry about it, mate. At the end of the day, I think we're writing off this season right now. I think we write it off. We're not going to go down. We're not going to get Europe. And that's it. You know, it's... I want to go into win every game, and I think we should go into winning every game. You know, by the time we get to Everton, their form might have dipped already. You know, Arsenal next week. You know, they've got no forwards, none. You know,
I was saying this. I was speaking to Scott about this because he's so sure we're getting battered, and we do play much better at home, and I can see us turning up. Whether we'll get anything or win, I think we'll see a much better performance. It'll be much more competitive. Looking at the state of their squad. And with us needing a response and playing a lot better away from home, we'll probably go back. Probably will play that three at the back again. And I think we'll see a lot worse. And I wouldn't be surprised if we got something there. I wouldn't be surprised if we lost, of course. But
no, I wouldn't be surprised. We turned up there last season and turned them over pretty convincingly.
I think,
know what happened at home, but
realistically, I think what we're hoping for is a performance. We want a response, don't we? Do you know what I mean? And it's really hard to bet on us nowadays, home or away. It's really hard because anytime we kind of do it, we're doing it with that sort of biased view, and we're thinking like everyone's playing good, etc. Do you know what I mean? We're going to go up against a team that's second in the league, arguably been one of the consistent teams in the league, despite pulling up any trees. They've got no forwards, but I think we're going to keep it tight, play on the break, etc. If we get something fantastic, do you know what I mean? But they're gunning for the league, innit? So it will be a tricky one, but sometimes they're the games you need, you know, after a bad performance or not a great defeat, you need those tough games, even a London derby. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something where the fans are going to be up for it. People are going to be rival. We're going to be talking about it for days leading up to it and days after. So it's the kind of game we need, actually.
Yeah, 100%. So fingers crossed. I would love it. I would love to put the file now in the coffin of their little title dreams that they're still holding on to. I would love it so much, mate.
Yeah, it is what it is. You know, you have to take it on the chin, I guess. You know, and we weren't good. We weren't good yesterday. We continue to be bad at home. I mean, how many games we lost? One at home. I'm sure it's my boy. I'm sure of it. I'm sure it's my son's fault. Ever since he started coming to the football, we don't win, and the only time we win is when he doesn't. Huh?
Stop bringing him there.
You know what? I feel a bit sorry for him yesterday because I did mention that to him a couple of times when we have won. I think he's only seen us win once this season.
Yeah,
and the couple of times when we won when he wasn't there, he's turned around and said to me yesterday, "Should I go home and give us a chance?" And I was like, "No, absolutely fucking not." You know what I mean?
No, you should have said, "Yes, piss off home. We want to win. It's more important. It's West Ham."
Yes, it's been bad. It's been bad at home. I don't know how we've got as many points as we've fucking got, to be honest with you.
Mate, honestly, it's just made it horrible. The home performances. It's been unbearable. You pay all that money for a season ticket, it's a kick in the bollocks, mate. It really 100%. Is. At least, you know, when you go away, the result is secondary to just the away day experience of having a drink, the songs, the concourse, all of that. Like, whereas you're at home, like, it's the main thing. It's you want to go and see a win at home. And we ain't seen many of them, not even performances. Have we had a good one this season? A good home Like where you go,
Or
No.
Ipswich.
Ipswich, yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
That was it.
That comment in the chats cracked me up. Was typical West Ham said, "We'll beat Arsenal, then lose against Leicester."
Mate,
Yeah.
I was saying, if we do not fucking beat Leicester,
we've still got Leicester to play and we've still got Southampton to play.
if we do not beat Leicester at home, mate, I would say I'm chucking my season ticket, but it's on my phone. I'll chuck my phone away. I'm done. I'm not going home anymore. If we can't beat one of the worst teams going at home, who can we beat? I'm done with it, mate. On a Thursday night in the freezing cold. Come on, man.
That's away, isn't it, Leicester?
It's home, isn't it?
No, it's at home.
Oh, yeah.
27th, Thursday.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. But we've been to Leicester already. I remember we got beat badly.
Yeah.
But I know it's a bit fucking grim at the minute, but fuck me, man. It's nothing's gonna happen to us. We're famous last words, but we're pretty safe.
Hopefully, Man United get an equaliser and it keeps us close to Spurs. Stop Spurs pulling away. I've got £50 bet that we'll finish above Spurs on the go. So,
you'd be sweating on that, and they're winning at the minute.
Yeah, I know. That's why I need an equaliser from Man United. If they both draw, that's good for us. Keeps us, stops teams pulling away from us.
Yeah.
So we need some.
Yeah. So there we go.
Yeah. It's what more can you say? Like I said, hopefully Arsenal will just change our moods completely. But like I said, it was very disappointing, very disheartening. And I'm still gutted about it because we was all looking so much forward to that game with the players coming back, and we weren't expecting a performance like that. So hopefully Arsenal can cleanse the palate.
Do you think that was our worst performance of the season? If you look at the halves, as would you say it's up?
I think it was. I'll be honest with you. I think it probably up there. I think it was the flattest, and it had the most amount of people that just was having bad games. I can't think of one player, and ironically, I can think of one player that had a good game, and that was Areola. And people were saying he had a bad game.
Yeah. This is the thing, though. Like, I think it's hard to say, like, because there was so many bad ones under Lopetegui that they've all just merged into one. I can pick out and say, yeah, like that. Because what was no, Man City, he weren't even one of our worst ones, and we did lose.
No, that was all right. That was all right. Chelsea at home. The Chelsea game at home was bad in a sense where we had a setup and a system, and it didn't work, and we just kept doing it, and then that line was so high, and it was embarrassing. Do you know what I mean? That's one that kind of sticks in the memory for me.
We did get battered quite a few times and shipped quite a lot of goals. I think this was just bad. We saw a lot of the ball in the second half, but we just couldn't break him down.
Yeah, somebody just said Arsenal was bad, but there was a little bit of attacking. There was points on that game where we looked like we may fucking claw something back like a miracle. But no, I think the Chelsea game was flat. People said Palace. Palace was bad. Palace was bad.
Palace was painful.
No shots.
That is a shame that two of them have come under Potter, two of our worst performances of the season, which is at home.
No shots.
But let's see. Listen, we've all been Man United fans. We've all been West Ham fans because I'm looking at the screen. We've all been West Ham fans long enough to know that you could go and have a fucking mare against Brentford, but go and beat Arsenal away. But
it's the West Ham way.
That's the West Ham way, yeah. Thank you very much for joining us on this edition of West Ham Fan TV's post-match pint. Anything left to say, boys?
Just one thing.
Come on, your irons.
Come on, your irons.